Hey everyone, welcome to today's webinar with Jayant Umrani. The topic of today's webinar is Source to Pay in the AI era. We'll be diving into many different, very exciting, very interesting topics. So thank you for joining us today. Briefly about our guest. So Jayant did his biomedical master's in biomedical engineering from IIT Madras. I know him for a few years now. We live in the same neighborhood in Atlanta. Um, and I have gotten to know him at a personal level, but also at a professional level because he has done some amazing work throughout his career. He used to be the global head of Salesforce practice at Tech Mahindra. He was there for 12 years. And since then, he has started his own firm called Bolt.Today. Bolt is essentially one of the leaders in the Salesforce ecosystem. And Jayant has a lot to talk about Salesforce, Source to Pay, and a bunch of other exciting technologies that empower businesses today. So Jayant, with that, welcome to our webinar today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's very exciting to be here, Srijan.
Awesome. So would love to get started. Maybe we can start with you telling us a bit about what Bolt does.
Oh, yeah, sure. And I'll give you a little bit of story of why I started Bolt, because people would typically wonder that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of Salesforce vendors and why one more, right? Uh, so it's a long story, but in very short, when I was with Tech Mahindra, I got an opportunity to really start the Salesforce practice, right? And this happened when uh, Tech Mahindra and Satyam merged together. And Satyam had one customer who was using Salesforce, and then this is 2008. A lot of services companies were trying to figure out what to do with this Salesforce, uh, thing. And that's when I got an opportunity. When I built this practice, I realized that Salesforce is a great tool, right? But it is always been implemented from a manager's perspective, right? A lot of user experience, and what's in for me, for the sales people, for service people, it's not addressed well. And that's where it fails in terms of adoption. And if the adoption is forced or it is bad, it turns into bad data. And when you have bad data, you don't have good insights, and then Salesforce is not telling the story, right? Salesforce has also come a long way since that, and that really motivated me, saying that I can get out and make this Salesforce work for salespeople, right? So I started this company Bolt.Today in 2017. So it's been 7 years now. Started with a wireframe framework of how Salesforce can better serve the users or salespeople. How can it help them close their deals better? And that's the journey I started with. Now, fast forward to 7 years, 2014. As you know, Salesforce has become a big ecosystem. It's no more just force.com, right? They have acquired so many other companies, products, and nobody can claim we do everything in Salesforce, right? We also do not claim, but we do three things in Salesforce really well. And being a company, a startup company, I will still call ourselves. We are close to 100 people now, but we focus on three main things, right? One is all the core Salesforce, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud communities, and things like that. Second is the commerce part of it, B2C commerce. We work with a lot of retailers, manufacturing companies, and things like that. And third and big piece, which sits in between, is the integrations, right? And platforms like MuleSoft and Workato and the ETL tools. And how do you really integrate and make that customer 360-degree really come to life? And coming to this topic, Srijan, of source to pay, we do work with couple of manufacturing companies, couple of retailers, right? And as you know, and if you want to introduce this topic, but as you know, mainly when it comes to manufacturing, and we were talking to one of the cable manufacturing company recently, right? Everybody wants to know, how do I reduce my cost of operation, right? How do I uh, make sure my procurement process, right, is automated so that I can actually trace a particular problem to the source, right? It's a bad quality. Where did it come from? My cost is going high. Which supplier is actually causing that to happen, right? So those kind of things that happen, and uh, with AI as well as with digital transformation, uh, all of this source to pay is completely getting transformed. And I would love to get into some of the examples that I see with our customers, but that's who we are, and you know, that's
Awesome. Thanks for that background. There's so much to unpack there, and I think we could spend the entire session just unpacking all the different points that you have covered. But we will dive into some of those today. Um, so you have been in the Salesforce and S2P space for several years. How have you seen this field evolving? How have you seen the practice evolving? And what challenges do you see in the next 5, 10 years coming ahead?
as you know, I've seen it right from uh, it being a paper process of you actually submitting
Long,
the
long
RFP
era.
responses. Oh yeah, yeah. Take 3 copies, take 5 copies, post it, to the supplier, to the vendor, and get into their supplier list. I've gone through that. To negotiating MSs for 18 months, right? One of the companies we were negotiating for 18 months to really get onto their supplier list. So I've seen from that highly manual process, and highly a process where whom you know matters if you want to get on the list, right? Uh, from that portion to where it has come today, uh, it is really mind-boggling to see, because of the level of digital data analytics that is available, at the same time AI that is available. Right now you have far more possibility of getting shortlisted if you have good credibility, right? If you have variable customer stories, uh, so it is, in a way it is a good thing, the way things are happening. At the same time, competition has also increased, because now it is a fair playing field for everybody, right? And that's what I have seen, where it has come, where it is going. It's somewhat it is scary, somewhat it is exciting, because I sit on the other side of the fence, right? I'm not a person who manages procurement, right? I'm a person who tries to get into their list. Good part I will tell you is a lot of process has become automated in terms of identifying vendors. People reach out to me now, right? Inbound lead used to be really difficult to get, but people reach out, and I'm sure nobody is going to all of these social media and website and trying to do manual research. It's definitely a bot that is doing this research and shortlisting and saying that, oh, you are trying to do something for example, B2C commerce. These are the top 3 companies, top 5 companies. These are the case studies, right? This is the docket, right? So now, before even procurement reaching out to you or sending an RFP, there is a lot of work that is happening behind the scene. It's very similar to what is happening in sales, how sales have changed, right? Before a customer reaches out to you, he has already done his research. So he doesn't want to know what you do. He already knows that, right? He just has few questions to answer. It has come to a very similar method right now. And with AI and with, you know, especially these chatbots where we are going, lot of this shortlisting process, right, of procurement, contract negotiation process, right, pricing negotiation process, lot of this is going to get automated. And that's, sometimes it is scary, sometimes it is not, because this whole, AI more than anyone. Reason it's not perfect, and that imperfection can cause some good companies to lose business. So that's where I really see this going.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% echo that sentiment. So AI is really a tool, in my opinion. AI is really a tool for human experts right now in the state where AI is, to make them more efficient and do their redundant work for them, manual work for them, such as data entry or verification of documents and so on, so that you save 5, 10 hours, 20 hours per week, and then you can focus more on the value add tasks, right? Eventually, few years down the line, it will get to a stage where it can also do the more value add tasks for you. And at that stage, we don't know what the world would look like when that happens. But right now, what we are seeing, there's tons of AI opportunities and that are coming up, both on the sales side as well as on the procurement side of things, where all of these can help a lot in reducing the cost as you were saying.
And
That's all.
it's a
Yeah.
and I'll say it's, as a pilot, it is very good, right? But if it starts making the decisions, it starts paying the invoices, right? That's where the scary part starts happening, isn't
Right.
it? But where we are right now, we are definitely in a assistance pilot stage,
Yes.
where AI is helping us, as you said. First thing, it just not just reduces our time, but it can also bring up certain aspects which we might not uncover manually, right? And
Absolutely.
that, yeah, that so our decision making might become more accurate, right? Because it
Yep.
will say, have you seen at this, or everything looks good, but here is the problem, right? Last two reviews have been really bad. So the
Yeah.
company has been good, but they don't seem to be continuing to be good, right? Those kind of signals, which AI and this data analytics can bring to table, I think humans might miss. So those
Yeah.
are some of the good parts of it.
Absolutely. So, for example, just adding from my own experience, we have built the system that can do invoice analytics for you. It can do quote
Mhm.
analytics for you, and it can find errors automatically, right? So you were quote, let's say the purchase order was for $120, and then the invoice came for $210. Like, honest mistake can happen. Two numbers get flipped. It can automatically find that. Or if the quotation is of a different value, or different items or different quantities mentioned, all those analytics, all that is currently done manually, can all be automated with the intelligence that AI brings in, rather than you having to do that all manually. So that's just one example where AI can really help, and the existing trends of robotic process automation and others don't really work quite well. Um, Coming to Salesforce, because like, can you talk a bit about what specific like, coming to the hot topic, AI and generative AI, what specific AI, generative AI, data analytics practices are you seeing people already adopting in their sales process? And what do you see, what potential it has in the next immediate future, let's say?
It has a tremendous potential, and people are adopting at a lightning speed, I will say. Right? And to give you the full spectrum of it, and you don't have to be married to Salesforce and use all Salesforce products. You can always use any external AI, bring that data, because Salesforce is a very AI driven, or sorry, API driven platform, as you know. So you can always bring that in. But in case of Salesforce, people have been using, you know, these chatbots, right? And Salesforce has also recently come up with or integrated entire of their platform called Einstein One platform across their force.com ecosystem. What that means is you already get pre-built integrations to OpenAI. They also have something called a safety layer in between, which means that no sensitive data will pass, data will not get stored, on this LLM models, which is a big concern for people, right? And so you can really can configure a chatbot today, right? And a chatbot can be for services team, for example. You want to know entitlements of a customer. You want to know who is calling. Can you just give me now, for example, we are working with one of the companies, they run a lot of clubs, and so when a customer or a club member calls in, they immediately want to know what's the entitlement of this club, what is his lifetime value, what all clubs he has registered to, what kind of complaints he is, and getting that summary using a mm, Gen AI bot, right, on a service cloud is so helpful, because what sounds to the caller, right, to the club member is, oh, you know me already, what's happening, and now you're talking to me as if you know me, right? Because in e-commerce world, as you know, uh, people say that know me to sell to me, right? And that's the new era, saying that do you know me enough before you sell to me anything, right? So all those emails that used to come, that let's see what sticks. Let me send 100,000 emails and 2% is my rate. and at least I'll get 200 people, right? So that era is gone, right? So that's one area where it is going. On sales side, uh, in a lot of areas it is being used, right? It all started with lead qualification, right? A lot of people, because leads is huge, it's a tunnel, right? So you have thousands of leads and you want to know which leads I should focus on so that I can make best out of my day. So lead qualification started early enough, right? A lot of products like Marketo and even marketing cloud of Salesforce and a lot of things do lead qualification or lead scoring, but it went deep. Now it has gone deeper because of AI, right? Where it has gone is it has also gone to a level of really helping you during opportunity lifecycle, saying that which are the critical buying signals you are hearing from the customer. Now, a junior sales guy doesn't even know what are micro buying signals. Now, AI can tell him, saying that, by the way, this is where the person or the company is in their buying process, you know, uh, because we are always focused on our selling process, but it's very important that you have to understand where he is in the buying process. So those kind of analytics people are able to generate and able to give a feedback saying that on this opportunity, these are the three things you should be doing, right? If you get these actionable insights as a salesperson, I'm very happy to use it, you know, because those are my blind spots, blind corners, which I want to know, right? And then last but not least is getting into all of this quote to contract life cycle, right? Because quoting is pretty simple, but where it starts happening is can you do a guided sell, right? Can you tell me what similar companies in my portfolio has bought? So what can I upsell, cross sell? What can I offer? What kind of discounts can I offer, right? To this company. That is the guiding process where entire quoting, before even I land into a quote, can you actually pre-create a quote for me? And I can start from there. That is where I think it is going. And last but not least is the contracting phase of it, saying that can I do contract negotiations better? Can I, for example, if you have signed an MSA with net 30 and suddenly there is net 60 requests, right? Can it be identified before the order form gets signed, right? So those, because now there is a discrepancy and now finance is going to, or legal is going to come back to you and say that, whatever order you got is not good enough. You have to go back and do an amendment. And as a sales guy, I don't want to go back to my customer after the order is signed, right? So those kind of things you can avoid. And that is, I think, ultimately where it is going. But last but not least, I'll also say is uh, whole of this contract management is a big area, right? Where uh, people are seeing a lot of ROI, right? My renewals, my upsell, cross sell areas, my entitlements of a contract, my contract terms, special terms that I might have signed with a customer, all of those bringing it out and having it as a customer 360-degree on an account is really very invaluable, right? So those are the spaces where, as I said, it is heavily been adopted. It's going really well. Uh, there is a big factor of cost, Srijan, I'll tell you, because a lot of we work into mid to enterprise range. More enterprise they are, they can afford, right? More mid market they are, the cost is the big hurdle right now. And as you know, as this evolves, I'm sure the cost will come down. But I think that's where it is.
Right. That's so deep and so insightful, Jan. Thank you. I think the major benefit where AI, in my summary of what you said, is like really a lot of value add, not just in cost reduction, but also in the top line of companies, and really helping them sell better, serve their customers better, and improve their contracting. And contract to pay is a part of source to pay, so helping them in that particular life cycle as well. You have worked with a lot of companies in the recent years. I'm assuming that they're trying to integrate AI into their process, into sales as well as S2P life cycle processes. What challenges do you see companies typically facing in such adoption? And how are they overcoming that? Like, can you share some field lessons that you have seen and learned along the way so that our audience can also learn from those?
Yeah, I can share. There are three main things I will say, right? Every company who thinks about AI first or many times struggle with the quality of data, and integrity of data. So that is, many of them start saying that is my data pristine enough, because garbage in, garbage out. That's the one force, scare they have, and they spend a lot of time on data strategy. And, now Salesforce has, not just Salesforce, but Oracle, SAP, everybody has come up with this data cloud concept where they say your data doesn't need to be in pristine condition, but you can normalize it, harmonize it, and then you can profile it, right? Into these buckets. But that's one part of it. The second part of it, definitely, I will categorize that into technology and people, right? Because most of the people are scared of AI, right? And scared of AI not from a perspective of I don't trust what it will give, but I'm just not used to doing it that like it's my generation, we are not used to going to our co-pilot and asking a question, or speaking to my phone instead of typing a text. We still type a text, right? But if you look at our kids, they just speak to the phone now. So that transition in the corporate life is little slower, right? Everybody in the personal life uses iPhone, but when it comes to corporate life, right, that is the scare. They say, oh, I have to use AI, and now they are hearing that AI will not replace me, but a person using AI is going to replace me, right? So how do you take the employees, make them comfortable to use AI? That is one change in culture in companies that needs to happen. So they
How
struggle with that change.
can we dive into that? How are you seeing companies getting their employees more comfortable with using AI?
So there are a couple of things they are doing, and it's very interesting concept. I keep speaking to the CIOs who have primary mandate of rolling out AI into the organizations, right? So what they do is they do allow certain tools to be used. Okay, uh, AI tools like OpenAI or Copilot of Microsoft, and to use officially into your workspace, right? But where the CIOs are scared are there is no guide rails to it, right? It can answer any question, right? And when it comes to, and one of the CIO really explained me very well, is saying that when you are uncertain of what you should do, right? You should be guided by our values. You should be guided by our company principles, right? So what is the right thing to do? Because many times that is what happens is you go to AI, you try to find out something, right? You get a very nice, concise answer. Now it doesn't as is applies to your enterprise, right? So how do you translate that to your enterprise? And that is where the first step learning starts, saying that they encourage people to use OpenAI. You know, second step they go to is then they start creating co-pilots, right? And especially HR is the first place I have seen many companies have created co-pilots so that you can get very precise and correct answers when you're talking to an HR related chatbot, right? What is the travel policy, right? What is the reimbursement policy, right? What can I do this? What can I do that? Now that is within the guidelines of the company, right? That's the second. So they are trying to launch applications which are, very precise and correct before it gets little bit into interpretation way, or the way in which human judgment is required to really implement that, right? So that are the steps they are taking, saying that let's encourage people to use or open AI platforms. Let roll out certain chatbots which will help them get the answers without writing 10 emails or calling 5 people, right? And then they're trying to roll out into their workspace, saying that these are the things we should, for example, co-pilots on company websites, right? Intranets, as I call it, right? You go to AT&Ts or Verizons of the world, now you will see co-pilots there, right? I can ask the question instead of, even before reaching out to anybody, you know? So that is how slowly they are really getting there. Companies also form something like an AI forum, you know, to answer the questions, answer the things that needs to happen. Uh, but it is a mindset change, and people, they take their own time to change. Last but not least, I think the third part is the technology, you know, And that is also a lot of companies struggle saying that what should I do? Should I build? Should I buy? Right? Should I go to OpenAI? What happens to my data? What happens to all of those hallucinations and all of those problems? Do I have money to do my own LLM? Do I really need my own LLM? Because many people don't even know they need what LLM is, and they just hear these names and then they think, do I really need one? Because I mean, nothing against any CXOs in any of the companies, but everybody is learning AI, including they, right? And that is, I think, the third part where this AI adoption in enterprise is, in my opinion, a little slower than we see it in our personal life, you know. So
Yeah, I think in the conversations that I've had and in the clients that we have worked with, I think the rate of adoption of AI very much depends on the size of the company, as well as how much AI they already have within the company, how technologically advanced they are. And to the question of do companies need to train their own LLMs, 99% of the cases the answer is no. You can get 90% of the benefit of using generative AI systems without training your own system. And training or fine-tuning LLMs really takes millions of dollars. So do you want to upfront invest so much money into this without knowing like what the ROI is? So a staged approach is a better approach to that. We have a couple of minutes left before we wrap up. We have a few people in the audience. If you have questions, uh, please feel free to unmute and ask your question or put them in chat. And then we can wrap things up shortly. While people are getting their questions in chat, let me ask one final question from my side, Jayant. Um, What advice would you give to young people entering the field today, considering the rapid advancements and technological adoption, as well as generative AI for the future of work?
that's a very difficult question, because when I was growing up, we only had three things, right? Either you go become a doctor, become an engineer, right? Or become a useless person. That were only three options we had. But now I believe the opportunities are tremendous, and no field is limiting, is how I will say to anybody, right? So follow your passion, follow what you like, but as a Japanese principle, also find out if anybody is ready to buy that, right? Because don't follow your passion where there is no money, right? And there is always something that you like to do which people have money, you know. And I took a very bold step at the age of 45, coming out of a company and starting my own company, right? A lot of young people do what I do. But I did that just to follow my passion, saying that, oh, I do this. And yes, there are a lot of people who are buying Salesforce. So I think my passion to, uh, you know, uh, making my earnings or living is going to work out. So that's one advice I'll definitely give. Second is, from a technology perspective, things are very rapidly changing, right? And you remaining non-technical is actually not a choice in this world right now, right? So you need to get into technology. You don't need to be a programmer. That is another concept of people saying that, oh, I'm technical means I'm coding. It is not that way. I don't do coding, right? But I'm a technical, or I'm a Salesforce architect, right? But understanding the technology, understanding its limitations, understanding its applications to a different sector, right, is very critical and very important for you to know uh, what are the trends going on, which areas I should invest more, and continuously upskill yourself, right? It is a whole lifelong. People used to say learning is lifelong. Now certification is lifelong, right? You have to keep upscaling yourself. You have to keep doing. You can see a lot of certificates behind me, which I have achieved at the age of 50. So you can, I believe you know how this goes. So that would be the three things I would really. like to say.
That's amazing. I love all the 3 points. Annapurna is asking, and we are over time, so we'll keep this
Mhm.
short. How do you see new companies starting up that can provide differentiated value to enterprises given rapid technological developments, Gen AI tools, and frameworks? So, what should one focus on to serve customers best? And what kind of exposure should a founder get to be able to serve their customers better, where in the future, maybe technology is not really the differentiating factor anymore?
So I think I'll answer the last part first, right? Because I'm in the similar boat. So this question applies to my company, to me, right? What keeps me awake is, am I going to remain relevant in this AI age, right? And every company is really thinking the same way, right? So from a founder perspective, I will tell you, founder doesn't need to be technically involved or technically in depth to AI and technology, but he definitely needs to know the business ROI that AI can give. And which are those 3 or 4 areas, like productivity we talk about, contract management we talk about, right? Which are those 3 or 4 areas of AI which has maximum ROI? He needs to really know that. No, number one. Second is, and how does that, or which of those apply to your customer base, to your services or products you offer, right? And that is the place of doing a double click and actually making some investment into, saying that, oh, for example, productivity is what matters. I have a SaaS product which makes my people or my customers more productive, right? As an example, right? Then I want to really make sure that how do I use AI to make my productivity product, right, more efficient, right, more automated, right? That is the path I think the founder should go upon. Last but not least, he should definitely be very open-minded in learning from his employees. Because I tell you, I start my calls at 6 a.m. and I talk to a lot of my technical people, and they say, why are you doing this? Talking through a lot of solutions and other things. Because I said, because this helps me learn, right? And it helps me connect with my customers better, right? So that is the third thing I'll tell you about a founder. You have to learn from your own people. There are a lot of bright people in your company for sure. So
Yeah, as a founder, love all these advices. It's, I think, every day is a great learning opportunity from everyone you interact with. And I think, the smarter, younger people in the company definitely have a lot to share uh, to bring to the table. We are over time, so we'll wrap this up. Thank you so much, Jan, for doing this, answering our questions, and for such a thought-provoking and inspiring webinar. Um,
thank you so much.
Jayant
My
really
pleasure.
played one thing that my co-founder Sonali and I are really inspired by from Jayant is this uh, risk that he took at, as he mentioned, at the age of 45 to start his company. And that's really, really inspiring. We don't see a lot of people doing that, but I think that's something more of us should do. Um, we will end this. Please feel free to reach out to Jayant. He's pretty active on LinkedIn, and
Yeah.
so am I. So if you have questions, please reach out to us and feel free to connect with us. So with that, thank you, Jayant, and
Thank
we'll
you,
meet
everybody.
next week for the next webinar session. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.